watch Survivor, and when the show ends, you really want to talk about it with like-minded friends. It might be hard to find some, but don't you shed a tear. Check out the Purple Rock Podcast, and this is what you'll hear. John will make some dumb jokes, and he likes to yell and curse, and if they're not available, the backup hosts are so much worse. Spend the whole time being jerks, telling you you're wrong, and so we got this other jerk to sing you our theme song. It's the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast. I'm your host this week, Andy, and with me this week, making his grand return to the show, Matt. Matt, welcome back.
I've been gone for so long. I was last here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I feel like you've been on the season as often as the ostensible co-star of the show, John.
I think I've already been on the season more than I was all last season. So.
And unlike last time, and I guess I'm leading here, I should be asking you this, but I think this is a much better episode to talk about than you had when I was sitting it out last.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I think we filled most of the time with the last episode I was on talking about the Lonely Island. And that's not a, metaphor for the island they're on in Survivor. That's just, our top three that week. No, this is actually a fun episode. This is a good episode. Interesting things happened here and dumb things happened here. And the combination of the two, I think, will make for a fun episode to discuss.
Yeah, I thought this was phenomenal television. 2 weeks in a row, I think we've gotten some like A+ type episodes for very different reasons. So I think we're cooking with gas here as the season goes. Obviously, everything could always fall off.
The clear answer here is swap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it lit a nice fire under last week. And then, again, the new dynamics that were at play as a result. And again, I'm not saying that swap is always just this panacea to make things go well, but I feel like the season desperately needed it. And
yeah, this season shows why a swap can be a very good thing and a very necessary thing to the game. But like you said, it's not always going to work out well. It just happened to these past 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we'll just jump right in because I feel like the big thing that stood out, and I feel like I'm like this is my personal opinion. This is like most people's opinion. This is the thing that people are talking about. Was the moment that we get at the challenge with Eva and Joe. Which, yeah, it was, I guess, heavily promoted and since has been heavily talked about. There's been interviews, both with the participants, with Probst, all of that. And well earned, because I genuinely believe that this was one of the most significant moments in the history of the show. Am I overselling it?
No. I mean, whenever someone is that hyperbolic, I always want to push back. But also, no, it was immensely touching. It was even I think the most hard-hearted people were touched by this. It was, and I am not one of them. I cry at literally every single movie ever. It's a running joke.
Yes,
in our Slack that I am a soft touch. But Jeff was out there. Jeff's a professional. No matter what, what's one word you would use to describe him? Professional. And he was breaking down, which is something I don't think I had seen before in that way.
Yeah, no, I believe it's the first. He said it is, and I can't think of any time to contradict that.
Right, yeah. I was just kind of describing the moment to my wife later, and I could see her affected by it. And as I was building up, she was like, well, did they allow Joe to go to her? Did they and I was like, yeah, they did. And it was really touching. And he was able to kind of center her and bring her back down. And yeah, I think it was this it was this very human moment. It was this very real moment. It was this very, it was this very touching moment. It had significance outside of the game. It had significance for people that can relate to Eva. I think it kind of shows. Yeah, so I think it was a very touching moment. It was a very big moment. I think it was a very important moment for the show for all those reasons.
Yeah, I also just think it really illustrates how good this show is, the people that make this show, because the framing of it, the filming of it, the editing, like all of it was just working on point. And again, like, yeah, Probst has done interviews talking about how like they really like worked hard in the like post production to make sure that they honored the moment in there. And it's just, yeah, it kind of underlines like no matter what criticisms that you have for this show, and we do it every week, it's not going to stop you there, but this is the gold standard for a reason. And what I think was, it was what the appeal of the show from the very beginning, and then this genre is right there, and then like the reality television. Even though, of course, it often is just the biggest of oxymorons, but that's what was happening here. It was real in a way that you just don't get much in TV, even within this genre, right? So much of the genre has evolved into just manufactured moments. And that's just not the genre itself. That's kind of a big chunk of like the media landscape we live in today, right? It's just everybody's curated presentations of their lives is like, oh, what a beautiful and sweet moments. Like, why were they filming that?
Right. Instagram, TikTok, all those things are exactly that. Some of the people, they go through life, or they consume, the internet in a way that is carefully packaged to you to give a semblance of reality, but is unreal because it's packaged. And even in Survivor and other reality TV, these moments that are real are, maybe not scripted, but they're influenced, they're presented, but this is a real moment of like reality breaking through that veneer, that packaging in a way that wasn't like tidy, that wasn't neat. And that I think like was like very, again, I go back to this, very touching.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how they presented it just in this episode. It's not just about the presentation in this episode. They laid the groundwork for everything here throughout the season up until this point. In the first or second episode, Eva's talking to Joe about like, hey, I have autism. These are some ways it presents itself. And he says like, what can I do to help in that moment? And so, then last episode when they got split up, she talks about her worry being away from him. And then when this is happening, they keep showing Joe, and they don't have to underline what he's thinking because we all know what he's thinking. Because we saw that conversation earlier. We saw what she said to him. We saw what he said that he would do for her in that moment. And we saw him unable to do that in the moment and want to do that and, have to basically trying to like psychically project himself over there to be doing that. Like the way he was staring at her was so intense, but it was so like full of meaning. It's like, and so because they laid these groundworks, because they did all that, they didn't have to do a cutaway. They didn't have to do a confessional about it in that moment. We all understood that because we had been watching. It's frankly the type of like care to editing and story presentation that you would expect out of a well-done movie or TV show. But, fictional, not reality.
Yeah. And that's key, like what you say about the confessionals, because that would be the standard reality show presentation of it. And that would add a layer of artifice. And frankly, like what this show has done and will do again in the future, but not here. We had long takes. Like they did not pull away from the moment when he finally embraces her and gives her what she needs. Like they hung on to that moment quite a long time, to the point where fair enough, I'll concede. Good thing this was 90 minutes long. Like the moments wouldn't have been the same. Now I will they would have given us this moment. They're rightfully proud of everything that came from it. But I do think it might have been shorter. But yeah, because of the early investment and all of that, it's just, and I gotta say, for me, and this is where I get back to like, the editing, the camera work. It's like, they put us right into Joe's head in that moment. And it really helps like build the tension. And you're like, okay, but he can't help, So then the moment that Probst, gives him the release, he gives like just a quick point as a thank you. And then boom, it's time to help this human in need. And
Joe, and them lingering on Joe's kind of looking at her, his expressions, he's very much the audience surrogate there.
Yes.
We all want to help her in that moment. Like, we've heard what she says helps her. We want to be the one that helps her. The people on her tribe, she had to open up to them about like what, would help her in that moment. So he's the audience surrogate. He is doing and acting in a way that we would be acting. I mean, assuming we are a total piece of this crap. But like, if you're a good person and you're actually empathizing with her here, this is how you would be acting, and this is what you would also, like him, be wanting to help her.
Yeah, and our concern level is dialed up, like after she, finished this is the challenge and all of that, because her tribe is trying to support her the way that you normally would. But we know, because of what we've been given, and Joe knows, that that's like the opposite of what she needs right now. She's overstimulated in that moment. So yeah, we feel the tension. So yeah, from like a presentation, from a storytelling perspective, just fantastic stuff. But then let's get to the real human parts of it. And that's also why I do believe this just phenomenal moment for Survivor is that, yeah, we like the conflict on this show. We like the strategy of this show. But it's like helps you remember that one of the reasons why this show really took off, and one of the ways that it's been able to set itself apart from a lot of the other reality shows, not all, like The Amazing Race plays in this space as well. And obviously then there was this whole other subgenre of like feel good reality, much of which just completely manufactured. But you think like to Survivor Australian Outback, like people were really responding to like Elizabeth Hasselbeck and like Roger. Like it was just like nice people being nice. And again, how they presented, we don't need to get into what we know of her later in life. And that's what and there's times even in modern Survivor where it feels like they're dialing, they're turning the knob on the feel good a little too high, up to 11, or like the feels like they're pushing it a little too hard, doing what they didn't do in this scene. A lot of telling, a lot of this person obviously has issues, but they also seem like they really want this moment to themselves. And it's always kind of like, okay, we get it. Like everybody's got a sob story or whatever. That's what was happening here. And I think that it happened in the challenge and the environment it is what helped really push that, because this is the last place that Eva wants this to happen.
Of course. Yeah. She doesn't want this in front of everyone. Frankly, this could be bad for her and Joe's game long term, because people will have seen, they all saw the bond these two obviously have. Mm-hmm. This is something that people will be probably looking to break up as the season goes on. And that like sucks for them in the game. But that's why, like you're saying, like she wouldn't want this to have happened there, but you can't control that.
Yeah. So that it does happen there, and that there is this artifice that prevents Joe from being able to, help her right away. And then the show allows him, thus giving him and us the release. It's like, that's where it was all just very real. And just a reminder, like, man, sometimes it's just nice to watch good people helping each other. Especially now, is a good reminder maybe that still exists in the world. So yeah, I that was really meaningful to me. And also just another way that it's kind of meaningful is a lot what we get now. Yeah, and the other side of that coin, what I'm saying is nice to see people being nice and help each other in the world. Is and this is not in Survivor specifically. In fact, Probst has done an admirable job kind of weeding it out of Survivor, but it's definitely in the media we consume. Is this like this modern idea of like being a man? And it's obviously like, blogosphere, like right wing, the manosphere type stuff. And it's just the fucking worst, right? And this idea that like being a man is just basically being cruel. It's just, it's licensed to be, jerks. And that's kind of the thing that's promoted. And what I like about this moment, and obviously now, I'm fixating a bit on the Joe angle. We'll talk more about the Eva angle. It's like what he does here, that's always been my conception of like what it means to be a man. To like, take responsibility to help people, even if, as you're getting at, it's going to come at some level of personal cost. But, that's what you have to do. And, there's things in, being a man and all that are negative coded. I certainly carry some of them with me, unlike you. Even when Probst broke, I did not cry because I just don't do that because of the damage that, being a man, the attitude got. But this is the kind of the positive side of masculinity. And it was really, I really liked seeing that. It's nice, you can see somebody like Joe who just really wanted to help somebody in that moment. And obviously that's what he does for a living. Like he is a helper by, design, but that meant a lot to me as well. I don't have a question there, but.
No, I agree. I completely agree with your, with the point you made there. I don't think you need to have a question. I think it was a well-made point. So
yeah. And so then they have this moment and then Probst starts talking about it. And I know there's been some pushback about that, and obviously you might have some. I'll give you a moment to talk about it. But I do think it actually was important for Probst to talk. I mean, not just because it's his job, but to give that potential space to explain what happened there. First off, probably needs to explain his own actions to other people, like why he allowed that interaction to happen. How, I don't think it has anything to do with the game. Hopefully everybody's okay with it. But in doing that, he did give the opportunity. And I like that Joe just kind of said, well, it seemed like the right thing to do and didn't get in it because it's not his secret to tell. But that gave Eva the space to speak. And I thought that was, again, all part of that. Another part of the phenomenal moment that we got.
I think the moment would have been lesser had Probst not talked. Like, I understand that people sometimes have a instinctive reaction against him and against him mansplaining or, we all remember his, big historic sit down on race and whatever. And, there are times he reaches beyond himself. I didn't think he did here because he talked about kind of how it touched him. He explained, he acted as that narrator that we were talking like they could have used a confessional for and they didn't, and that was good. He kind of acted then in that confessional role of narrating what happened and asking the question to see if there was more that could be mined there, because his job as host is to try to get more. If there wasn't more, they probably would have cut his speech, or they would have cut it shorter, or they would have edited it in some way, because the speech, as you said, was what let Eva talk about her autism and talk about why Joe's gesture meant so much to her, what had happened there, explain it. She wouldn't have done that otherwise. He provided her the platform to explain, not just for the other people on the show, but for the audience if they had missed the first episode. And I think that was also really important.
Yeah, and I think him speaking for a bit also gives Eva a little bit of time to compose herself before that. And obviously, Joe answered first, so that also gives space. No, look, I get it, because like the most emotionally affecting parts were when Probst did not talk, when nobody talked. And we just, again, right in tight, we get that moment between the two of them. But yeah, no, I mean, Eva getting that moment to talk to everybody is probably the more important part of everything that happened.
Right. And you can't carry that same emotion the entire way through. You need a release. You need a break from it. That was a very intense emotion there. And so Probst gave you that break. It gave you a bit of a release to then kind of to reset some of the emotion of that moment.
Yeah. So, yeah, for me, gold star to him, gold star to the show. I'm just really happy I got to kind of experience that, because it's just that level of vulnerability. Like, I wish, like, you'd like to think, if you're put in that situation, that you would be the Joe in that situation, just a human being, that vulnerable, needing help. I don't know that I would be, just because, I mean, I am uncomfortable in, those kind of public situations or those kind of showings. Frankly, maybe a little uncomfortable talking about it right now, and I'll just throw in some jokes every once in a while as my mechanism. But, and also it's like, then I'd be in my head, it's like, well, would she want me to, or am I not as, and that's like, I would like to be like Joe, man. And he's just like, it's time to step up, and he does it. And obviously some of that, harkens back to like who he is, like what he does, right? He's a first responder. And that I think also harkens back to the first episode. It's like, if this happens, what do you need? So then he goes into that mode of, how do I help this person? Obviously, how do I help this person I deeply care about? But also, like, that's the kind of person he is. That's just really admirable. And it's to the point where I think, I came off the first episode and everybody else was like, I love Eva and Joe, nothing helped. And I was like, no, that was great. But also, I don't know if I'm going to be very interested in them as players. I've turned around on that. If this is a season where Joe is just like a fairly decent person within the structures of the game and then wins because he gets a bunch of challenges and idols, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay if Joe wins this season,
I will just say, just as kind of a meta commentary on the season, I kind of feel like the season is setting up well for Joe because, like, there's kind of a lot of people who would fall into a, like, kind of a, I don't know how else to put it, but kind of a jock alliance. And I feel like in a way, like, this Eva Joe moment is like an anchor to that in a way that it wouldn't normally be. And like, this season could set up very well for Joe. Or it could just be that we got a lot of attention on them because there's this big moment.
Yeah.
And they'll go out kind of quietly and that'll be fine too. But it's also like, like if this is more than just a moment, I'm cool with that because this is the type of thing that invests you in someone. You need like some moment to get invested in people on this show. And this was a huge moment. So it's like, I don't know how you could not be invested in them.
Yeah, and it just shows the power. Like, again, my primary interest in the show is like entertaining stuff, strategic, big personalities. But it's just a reminder also, it's like sometimes it's just kind of, there's just something to getting a slice of like real human stuff. And that's what we got in this moment. And that wasn't the only time we got that in this episode.
No, it was not, because there was a whole other conversation all about very real things and events in people's lives. And this is what I was saying about how kind of like the season and from a meta level seems to be set up well for Joe because he was part of that moment too.
Yeah. And just to give your earlier point, like this absolutely, that moment does present danger. And in fact, many seasons before, be like, oh, wow, that person is really sympathetic. We got to get him. The nadir, which was like 39. I don't think this will get there at all. But look, I won't fault these people at certain points. Like, we can't let Joe get to the end because I would give him the money. I don't know who wouldn't, right? But before that, we get the scene with Vula with, 4 members of Vula basically kind of talking about the generational trauma that their families carry with them. And this was also just a phenomenal scene. And again, just contrast with sometimes in the past where it just seemed like people were trading sob stories because they knew like this was their ticket and all that. It didn't feel like that at all. This was people that were bored talking on the beach. I mean, it just kind of started with, man, it's kind of rough, but nothing like how our families have it, right? Not knowing that like there'd be like other contributors to that discussion.
Yeah,
and
they all did. I mean, like to me, I didn't even really catch how it started. It just all of a sudden was just like talking. I was like, whoa, this got deep real quick. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah. And I really loved it because the thing that like contestants on the show, former survivors, will talk about all the time and try to convey to, us, but can't. It just, if you're not there, you don't know. It's just how deep and how close you get to people, how quickly, right? And that's like important to understand. But again, you can't really understand until you're there. But that's the other element of like this game. And like, I know a lot of people like to think about it with their, fake games that they play online or whatever. Like, this is all strategy and all that. But it's not just that. And that's why it's hard. It's hard to execute moves. That's why people, screw up moves. We'll get to that. But it's essential to understanding the survivor experience to the degree that we could ever understand without being there. And I felt that moment, those scenes, which again, Yes, those scenes wouldn't have been in a 60-minute episode, almost certainly. That really put us in that place where it's like, this is it. Because they all came out of that being like, and who knows if it'll stick. I would love it if it would stick. But like, these are my 4, because you're just sharing these intense, personal, human moments with people. And then you got to vote them out. It's really weird. What other thoughts do you had?
No, I mean, I completely agree kind of on your point there. And to the other point you make about kind of how quickly you bond, it's something that I've made fun of in the past. But then if I think about when I was younger, I went to overnight camp and I would go for 4 weeks. And by the end of that, I'd be like, oh man, I got this.
Those are the most important people in the world. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's when you leave there, because you just spent 24 hours a day with these people. You don't have TV. You don't have movies. It's or if you do, it's as a group activity, though. At the camp I was at, I didn't. So you're just outside a bunch, or you're playing games together, or you're, doing some activity together. And it's the same people all the time in this space where there aren't other distractions. You bond really quickly under those circumstances. Or you really hate someone quickly. One or the other.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the show, right? And you're separated from your day to day and all of that. So then you can kind of step outside of maybe, the masks that we build up for our day to day life, and maybe start to try to find new ways of reinventing yourself or rediscovering things within you. And again, that's what we were seeing. And obviously it's also reflective of those 4 individual people, right? We're not getting that if Say is on this tribe, right?
No, but she's not dropping she's not dropping the mask enough to let it through.
No, or maybe not shutting up enough to let other people talk in this regard. So yeah, it's reflective like that. I think we have 4 really decent people on that tribe, 4 of my favorite people on this tribe. But I also just thought that was just a phenomenal scene, both for the content in itself, and which is yet another feather in the cap of the diversity initiative, right? The content specifically is, we don't get that when it's a more homogenous group, but more just kind of that window into this is what it's like. This is how quickly and how deep and meaningful that these connections can be that you're not going to get at a work retreat, or, at a happy hour, or, even just with people you've known a long time, and you kind of get into those rhythms. And yes, I've been there. I just had 1 week away where I was just with a bunch of other teens. And yeah, all of a sudden, teary eyed when we're leaving, writing letters all the time, hooking up with girls. And then, another time, it was a month, on a bus touring with people. And what happens there? I meet the woman I'm going to marry. So it can really affect people quite a bit. And I just love that they kind of just showed us. And again, show, not tell. There was confessionals, and they were great too. But just the moment where they were all talking, and just you could kind of feel oh, there's somebody else who gets it.
I think it was also just a really good kind of peek into camp life. And, sometimes it's a very artificial thing. This wasn't. This was kind of more the camp life that happens between the moments, between the things. You're just kind of hanging around, and then someone starts talking about something, and you just get into this big conversation, I mean, and those are the bits of camp life that I think people that really like the 90-minute episodes really love.
Yeah. My counter is we're talking about it because this is more rare than common. But I'm very happy we had it this time. This makes me think that I asked this last week of John. I should probably ask you, did you miss the journey?
Oh my God, no. I until you brought it up.
I know. It's just see, well, when you were saying, it's that, we have this true thing. It's instead of these artificial little fucking games that they make us play, that, should be noted, has now cost 2 people the fucking game. So we'll use that as a transition, because Bianca went on a journey, was forced to play a game of fucking rolling dice. And as a result of not having a vote, and some other things that we'll get into, but the least in part is she goes home. Just like, Pizza goes home because he lost his vote. So now, it's not just because she didn't have a vote she goes home. Because, man, why the fuck does she tell Cedrek she doesn't have a vote?
Because here's the thing. If you don't tell Cedrek that you don't have a vote, you go home. If you do tell Cedrek you don't have a vote, you go home. The problem here is not her choice. The problem here is Cedrek.
He fucking hates people that don't have votes.
Hates them so much. Can I go back a second?
Yes.
A lot of people are, and by back, I mean literally like not even to the previous topic, but to this very topic. You set it up. You've been 2 journeys, cost the 2 people a game because of a game they were forced to play. But here's the thing, and this is very important for everyone that's like, this shouldn't be an option. People shouldn't lose their vote. I got to push back and I say, these 2 episodes are the reason why people should lose their vote at times. These 2 episodes would have been so dull. These last 2 episodes would have been just awful if everyone had their vote. Okay, wait, no, not last episode. This episode and 2 episodes ago. Sorry, I got a little confused.
Yeah.
Because them not having a vote is what introduced tension at Tribal Council. The tension would have been totally different and would not have been that interesting. This would have been an extremely standard vote had Bianca had her vote. It would have been, who does Bianca side with? Who does she vote with? Or do they all target Bianca? That's it. That's what it would have been. It would have been so much simpler. Instead, one of the reasons why this episode was so good, and one of the reasons why this vote was so fun, was because it's Bianca trying to play a game working around the fact that she lost her vote. Now, I'm not saying everyone should lose their vote all the time. I'm saying adding that element to the game introduced a new type of strategy that we hadn't seen before. We've seen people try to navigate tribes where there are 1 and there's 2 twos of others. And then what's always happened is they decide with one of the 2s. We haven't seen instances where people are trying to navigate the fact that it's a 2-2 split and they're in the middle and they don't have a vote. That's fascinating. That's really interesting. And the way it ended is also very funny in this instance. So, yeah, I'm not against people losing their vote. I'm for it, not because it's fair gameplay, but because it's good TV.
Yeah. Who agrees with you that losing your vote can really cause interest in this game? Omer. Oh, yeah, definitely. But Omer, who lost his vote, and as a result had to do some really interesting things and maneuvering. So, yeah, and I do think you're onto something. I think just that for one, I've never been opposed to sacrificing your vote. I do like actually that is part of some things. And again, losing your vote because you took a beware advantage. That seems like, it's beware. There's got to be consequence. Although at this point, I think we've gotten to the point where no one doesn't beware. So I don't know if it really adds anything.
No, that happened last season. That happened with.
Oh, did it?
With the annoying guy last season.
Okay, I was thinking it's been a couple of seasons, but you're probably right. That sounds familiar.
I'm trying to remember it, but it was someone at the beginning. He left it there.
Oh yeah. He was kind of like a dumb guy. Yeah, Andy. No, that annoying guy. Just can't stop talking about it. Yeah.
Who we started off as a dumb guy and then gave us one of the best episodes.
Yes.
He didn't take it.
Yes.
He didn't take it. And it was all like, oh, I'm not going to take it. This is going to be better for my game. And then when he went back to take it, it was gone.
Yeah, you know what? So there is still some juice in this one. I retract. I think it's just don't force them. Make it a choice. Why eliminate choice? Choice is the most interesting thing about this game. So
yes, I agree with that, except that it, and the next time it comes up, I'll probably get mad they didn't get a choice. But in this instance, it paid off in spades in entertainment value because this was such a fun vote. It was so fun to see Bianca try to maneuver without a vote. And she started trying to do it last episode. And, it's like we've had, this is a 2-episode plot we've had going here. And it ended in failure because
she goes back on her own idea.
Right. She ran into the brick wall that is, and the killer of Survivor life that is Cedrek.
Yeah. Actually, real quick to finish your last point, it also, like, being forced to play, that's why Mary got an extra, got immunity.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, that, which was far more useful to her than a vote would have been. But I don't know if she would have played otherwise. So, yeah, no, there's sides there. But yeah, man, Bianca. And look, man, she doesn't know what we know about Cedrek. She's heard some things, but how much can you believe it? It's coming from Say. And, you know, yeah, I guess in Exit, she said that, like, Cedrek told her the reason he voted out Justin is because he lied about having a vote.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just like, yeah, you know, he can't vote you out while he doesn't know that you're lying, you know, and you've already lied. You know, that's the other thing, you know, once Cedrek has decided something, he doesn't turn back. But it's just, you were right there, Bianca. And look, she explained it in the episode and they did a good job of showing, like, why, you know, he'll be mad and, like, it'd be great if they won't even find out. Because if I can just turn him, but it's just like, you just survive this one. You were there. What happens is it's 2-2, and then everybody's like, what? Bianca doesn't have a vote? But they can't vote for you then. They can't flip the vote on you. They can only vote for the people that are tied. And they're not going to Rocks.
No, they won't go to Rocks for that.
Because Bianca would go to Rocks too, but it's not going to that.
Right. And here's the thing, though. I did think that, like, my first thought when she was getting into this circumstance was, why are you trying to 2-2 it? Because that opens the possibility for Rocks. Why don't you just, like, you know, like, see where the crack is and be like, I'm voting with them, you better join me type of thing if you want to come with us, if you want to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, and that's why when she told Cedrek, and you can vouch for this because I was kind of live blogging my thoughts as it was happening, as I was watching, I basically said, I would probably have told him in that moment too, because he was just saying how he kind of wanted to vote for Say, and he wasn't going to because he had promised her, or it wasn't the right time now. But if you could tip him over the edge, now would be the time to do so. And he seems like he wants to work with you, so maybe this is the time to do it. But I also said, right after I said that, but it's also Cedrek, so this is going to absolutely screw her.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's like, I totally get why she did in the moment.
Yes.
Because it's, you know,
it felt like it was the moment. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's make this easy. And yeah, let's work together. So no, like, from a human level, I totally get it. But it was like, you were so close. And that's why, you know, she's in tears when she leaves, because she knows. She knew I was there and I did it to myself. And it's like, to a degree, but you also got Cedrek.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. I think she'll feel better when she sees this season and she's like, oh, okay, I got Cedrek, because Jesus, is he a killer of games? Just,
yeah.
It's wild. But it's also, she'd been living with this secret and this plan for like days now.
Mm-hmm.
It had been building to this moment, and I think she needed a release. It's so hard to hold that in for so long. And if you, and she'd probably been telling herself, I'll tell someone if there's that moment where it can benefit me. And she really thought Cedrek was someone different than what he is.
Yeah. And then it was tough because, like, last week we were like, Thomas should have told them about it. So it's like, it's easy to be here now. It's like, you just don't tell anyone. You just don't. But I do think the situations are different. It's like, you know.
I don't think you tell people about something you don't have unless you know you can trust them.
Yeah, if they're your alliance, then it's a need to know in order to progress forward. Okay, we need to know, you guys need to know this. I don't have a vote, so whatever plan we're putting together cannot be relying on my vote. But that wasn't the case here. Her instinct of why these people can't know that I don't have a vote was clear and true.
100% correct. And the funny thing was, I had no opinion about Bianca before she wound up in this situation. And then I was kind of rooting for her because I was like, no, this is really fun.
Yeah.
Her narrating this is really fun.
I thought she was really engaging.
Yeah, I thought she was great in, these last two episodes, especially this one, trying to navigate around it. I still laughed when she got voted out because it was awful and it was like a real, like, oh man, like what a terrible moment. But like, and of course, Cedrek would screw her.
So. Yeah. And she fumbled at the goal line. And like, again, even to her credit, she waited for the last moment. Like, if you're going to do it, so you do it. So there, minimizes the opportunity for blowback. But I think that also probably led to the blowback. I think
He
that
totally did because, and apparently, I mean, and I know this was in like one of the interviews, but Pizza said in his interview, like, you can't tell Cedrek anything last minute.
well, he said that in the episode.
He did say that in the episode? Oh, I forgot that. Right. It'll break his brain is basically what he said. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, all of a sudden, dishonest. Oh, I think she's trying to strong arm me. It's like, that's not what's happening. She's being honest. And she was not before because it meant her survival, because she was trying to avoid what you're doing to her right now. And that's the one thing, like, just how worried she is that she'll get caught in the lie. It's like, I honestly think most people, clearly not Cedrek, but most other people would be like, yeah, I get it. You had to do what you had to do. Like, I wouldn't have worried about, like, oh no, and they come back, they're going to know that I didn't have a vote. Yeah, okay. They knew you didn't have a vote. You have a vote now. So, like, what are they going to do about it, right? Yeah, so it's tough. Like, yeah, I know. I say, I totally understand why she ended up doing it, why she had that moment of weakness. But it was what doomed her. And it was a huge mistake.
Huge mistake.
But, and I don't know, this is probably hot takey. I don't know. Is it possible that Chrissy's decision is even less defensible than Bianca's?
So I guess the question is that we really don't know.
No, we don't. We don't know much about why or when. Yes, sorry, continue.
Right. All we know is that immediately when Bianca went home, Chrissy turned to everyone else that wasn't Cedrek and said, did you notice that she wasn't voting? Did you notice there was only 4 votes?
That tells me she was tipped off.
That tells it to me too. And so then why does she do that? Because Cedrek came to her with the plan and that was a safe plan and she didn't want a 2-2 with the possibility of rocks.
Of course, she would have been immune in the rock scenario. Yeah. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me. And maybe we'll get more information on it ourselves. Is that Cedrek had to have told her, and I'm guessing did not tell Mitch. And
which is also weird because I thought that Cedrek had the better bond with Mitch.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing just opportunity.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that was it.
Like, he had a moment with Chrissy and didn't have one at Mitch, because it really sounds like this was last minute. Bianca said in her exit interview, was just like she was watching him. Like, she doesn't even know when he would have had time to talk to her about it. But, like, it had to have happened. I don't know how Chrissy just, like, goes, like, off script in that moment without additional information. Again, without Mitch doing the same. And I know some people are like, well, no, Mitch still votes for Say in case the Bianca, like, that is way risky. She didn't admit, because, like, what she's opening herself up to, even doing it, even with the knowledge that I'm assuming Cedrek gave to her, is like, man, what if he's lying to you? Now you're splitting your vote with Mitch and you're going home.
Yeah. So he had to have told her. It had to have been like some brief moment. But I did also find it very funny that Bianca made Cedrek promise he wouldn't say. And so Cedric's like, I mean,
oh, for sure, I won't.
Okay, yeah, okay, I won't tell Say.
I won't tell Say. I'll tell someone else. Yes. And that's 100% for me. Like, people are like, why didn't he tell Say? He said he wouldn't. And that's why.
He said he wouldn't because that's who he is.
Yeah.
He's someone that will follow, like, the exact letter of the law, but not the spirit.
Yeah, and believe that protects him. Believes him that, like, I have kept my word and all of this. It's like, you voted her out. What are we doing here? Well, if you don't care, just go for it.
And let's go, just deep dive into that. What are we doing here, Cedrek? What are you doing? Why? How does this help your game? Does this make any sense?
For him, it makes a little bit more sense than it does for Chrissy. So we'll talk about both and compare. One is that, like, again, if in that moment he felt like, Bianca's trying to basically manipulate him, he gives him no time, all that. Well, then I'll just vote out you. You can't push me around. So that, from that perspective, makes sense. It also makes sense that, like, maybe he's just decided that Chrissy and Mitch are a better, like, working relationship for him, and that he's probably not wrong. It might be a good match.
It seemed like he could have kept open the option of Bianca and Chrissy.
Yes, that part, yeah. But maybe in doing this and sharing that with Chrissy, like, really, like, in his mind, okay, now that's my group, because, you do get the sense, like, he feels like he can't betray Say again. But he's not, he kind of recognizes that might not be a good match. So in that respect, but again, I agree. Just vote out Say. It's the same thing for Chrissy. Okay, you get that information. Oh, I guess she was lying to us. But I know that I can't work with Say. Say being in this game is really bad for me. And like my partner is already voting for her. The move there is to be like, oh, thanks, Cedrek. Yeah, no, but we're going to vote for Say. And you have to as well, unless you want to go home.
Yeah. Which is the part that is just...
Because now they don't know that it's a merge. No, you go.
None of them work with Say. This might be the last chance to get rid of her without any blowback, because if you go to a merge, she might now be on the jury. And if she's on the jury, guess what? She could be a vote against you at the end if you get there. Don't bring her.
Yeah.
She's the bad kind of chaos agent. She's the kind of chaos agent that actually will make things happen. Not, she might be a goat in the sense that you don't think she can win, but she's not a goat in that she can't cause you harm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, like we need a different term than goat. Like, yeah, too many people think goat can't win. It's like, yeah, like when they can destroy your game, that's also bad for you. Too many people just focus on, they can't beat me. It's like they can destroy you.
People that can destroy your game are frankly worse than people that you're not sure if you can beat.
Yeah.
Because I'm just saying, at the end, you might be wrong about the latter. You're not wrong if they can destroy your game, and you've correctly diagnosed that. Get them out.
Maybe leopard, the kind that eat the faces. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and so here's one reason that it makes sense to vote out Bianca with all this information or whatever. Frankly, the not having the vote thing is just nothing. That's a red herring. Other than free and clear that she can't stop it. We don't have to worry about what the third vote is. It's the original reason they were planning on voting out Bianca in the first place.
Too strong.
Yeah. Now they're one less strong than they were before with Thomas.
And now two less.
Yeah. So, but that would be the reason. But again, like it feels like this was a last minute decision based on the information of she does not have a vote. Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, but why does that change anything for you, Chrissy? Like if you'd already made peace to the fact that, you know what, rather have Bianca in the game than finding out that like she doesn't have a vote and this Cedrek is going to vote for her, but he can't tell Say, so Say isn't going to vote for her. Woohoo! Easy money.
Yeah. It might be also that Chrissy knows that there will be future opportunities when people are eager to vote Say out. That might not be true with Bianca. It might be that once Bianca gets back with her people, it's going to be hard and she's going to have some power. You have a chance right now to take her out, and where before you thought you needed her, now you realize, I don't need her because she doesn't offer me anything. So yeah, we could just vote her out.
Yeah. No, and all of those would be logical reasons why the target never moved off Bianca in the first place. But as presented to us, both sides are trying to work Bianca. And Chrissy decides, no, Say is much worse. Mitch definitely decides he was going to pop off, man. And like, you could be like, well, that was red herrings. That wasn't true. But Mitch votes for Say. So like that was a plan at some point.
This is what I think. I think when it's a 5-person tribe, 2 are from one tribe, 2 are from another, and then one's in the middle, it's very hard to trust the other 2 to vote for the person in the middle, because the problem there is if they, it's like you know that person in the middle is going to be going to both sides. Mm-hmm. And so you think, they're probably just playing me. Really, they're voting for one of us too.
Yeah. But so once you find out she's not.
Right. But when Bianca doesn't have a vote and you find out that she was lying about having a vote, you know that she wasn't playing, you know that the other side's not trying to vote you out, and they can't without Bianca. So like now that option becomes much more palatable and much easier to make happen.
Mm-hmm. And all of that makes sense if it was Chrissy and Mitch voting out Bianca. But nope, it's Chrissy and Cedrek. It's like, okay, fine. Cedrek, I give you my 100% trust. It's like, she doesn't know how this works.
No.
And that's the kind of the interesting thing is everybody thinks that Cedrek, like, that's a guy I want to partner with. He's, as honest as the day is long. He's straight shooter all the way. And it's like, I mean, those things are kind of true, but not in the way that you think will help you. It's the opposite. That when you try to do anything in this game, it's going to be so hard.
Yes. Say basically told Bianca that this episode. Bianca went up to Say and Say's like, are you sure you really want to work with Cedrek? Are you sure about that? I'm not sure he's exactly what you think he is.
Yeah. And so, like, when, like, the pizza episode, which, this guy named Pete, that War Pizza was voted out. Also, just, like, the absolute worst discussion of pizza in podcasting history. I was like, oh, man, this Cedrek guy, just so frustrating, all of that. Now, I'm like, I don't like him. But this weird energy of people falling into his, like, honeypot trap or whatever of honesty. It's just fucking fascinating. I want to see who the next victim is.
It's really funny, and I've now come around, and I'm totally here for it. Just Cedrek, destroyer of games. So
yeah. All right. Shifting gears, we'll go back to the other tribe. So after the emotional immunity challenge and all that, we finally get down to the business of Star finding her idol, and that's after actually another great moment of Star talking about, like, oh, now I get her. There was this tension between us, but now we get her, and she has personal experience, all that. So she's thinking that she wants to work with her. So we finally get the clue solved. The whole tribe works on it. And then Eva's the one that, puts the different, combinations, opens it up, takes it out. Honestly, when she took it out, I'm like, is she going to give that to Star? Because, like, isn't that hers? Like, is possession kind of the rule here? I guess we don't know how it works in idol trapped in this device, but, like, in other survivors, I'll have all the clues to the idol, but cool, I put my hand on it first, so it's mine. So I was wondering, it's like, is she going to give it to her? It doesn't seem like she's kind of forthgoing. And then Star's just like, you know what, you have it. And I was like, what?
I was also like that. That was a hilarious move and something I think that basically no one else would do. And now I'm kind of like, and what was so funny was this entire, like, sequence, Stars being like, oh, I get Eva now. I really want to work with her. I don't remember us seeing Eva say the same thing about Star.
Yeah, I think anytime Eva says that, like, I have an alliance partner, was after Star gave her an idol.
Yes. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure that partnership's gonna last. And I think one of them came out a lot better than the other from this.
Now, I've seen people argue this, and I think there's something to this. I don't know if I'm fully there, but and I also don't know if that's what the motivation was, and I don't know that we can ascribe it to it. There's a target that comes with having such a public idol.
That's true.
Maybe Star passed that grenade over to Eva.
Yeah, that could be true too.
And one thing we keep in mind, and we saw this last week, this season, like some of last season, but definitely this season, is informed by 46. People one by one having idols, not playing them, and going home. So, like, that could have been on Star's mind. It's like, I don't want everybody coming after me because I have this thing. Right. I got to say, though, for me, it's like, I just have it and just play it. That's the other way that you can get that heat off of you. Yes, rather than now somebody else has. Unless, this is like a Machiavellian ploy. It's like, now everybody's going to be worried about her because she's got this really touching emotional angle. She's so close to Joe. And now it's like, oh my God, and she's such a huge threat. She has an idol. We should vote her out. But I don't think that's what was happening there.
No, I don't think so either. And nothing that Star has done so far this season would give me any reason to believe that's what was happening.
Yeah. So now, Eva has new best friend in Star. But what we also see in that tribe at the beginning of the episode, not so excited about Charity. And I don't have a lot to say on this. I just want to bring it up because as it's happening, we're getting the scene. And, Eva, once again, it's like, I'm not the best at picking up at social cues, but there's just something about Charity that I don't know. She's kind of fake. And I'm like, that's, no, you're doing the right thing. You're good job, Eva. you're reading the signals right, because I feel the same way.
Yeah. You see, I totally missed this moment when it first happened because I was so entranced by David's love of milk.
Yes.
And, the like, soft, romantic music as he's drinking his milk, which he does apparently all the time at home, which, sure, dude, whatever.
I mean, I still drink milk every day, but I don't know if the dedication is the same level as him. I also do 1%. That's just me.
Oh, okay. So not that 2% bullshit,
Well, yeah, I'm like even 2% is like twice as much fat as I get into me. Every once in a while, yeah, the 1%'s low and we do get the 2, or that we just mix the colors up into the 2 different brands. And the boys can be like, milk's tasting pretty good today. It's like, yeah, it's really good. No, I don't know if anyone else clocked that. Like when he's pouring it, his finger is in the milk. His disgusting survivor finger.
It's so weird. He is such a weirdo, and I actually do kind of enjoy him.
Yeah. He's just got golden retriever energy, right?
He does. And it's good. It's good. And like his weirdness is genuine. So
so this is like the second episode in a row where like somebody's been like, yeah, I don't really vibe with that Charity, right? Like we got it from David last week, and that's basically all we're getting on Charity, right? Otherwise, the show is completely disinterested in her. Just getting people to be like, So it's like I wanted to give Eva points on that. I think actually you picked up on the social cues correctly, and I ended up just doing a tiny I was on Charity's wiki page, and I just kind of looked. And like her job, and it says probably on the show again. I don't remember a lot about her presence on the show, but it said she's a flight attendant. Okay, that's fine. But then in it, she's talking about like how she lost a bunch of weight. Hey, good for you. That's your personal weight loss and fitness journey. That's there. But then it's like, and now I'm coaching different people how to. I was like, oh, she's a life coach. That explains it. That explains all of the phony vibes that people are picking up off of. That she has learned that every relationship and potential relationship is transactional, and that might be it. So no, maybe it's wrong to generalize, but I'm also fine with it in this instance.
No, that does explain a lot to me as well.
So, yeah. So we had Eva and Charity clashing. We had Say clashing with Chrissy. In, almost getting banana etiquette stuff, and then Say being like, don't tell me what to do. Say's totally going to try and eat more than her fair share of fruit, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had the epic clashes in the challenges and such, all of which made me think that we, of course, have to talk this week about the top 3 songs by The Clash.
Yeah. Which is, after, certain top 3 discussions in the past, this time you're like, oh, hey, this was my thought. You cool to do this? I did that time too, man. I'm trying to give you an out there.
I was like, hey, do you think you could do it? I mean, I understand. I do this with John all the time. Is there any chance you've seen 3 movies? It's like, no, who the fuck are you talking to? But yeah, I did that. I did have good hope though. I'm like, you know what? Like, they're one of my favorite bands. Yeah. If anybody, I feel like it's Matt.
Yeah, no, and you were 100% right. It's just funny because I was joking with you. I was like, man, you're really speedrunning this on difficult because you gave Emily food, you're giving me music. Next, you'll give John movies,
Absolutely. I'm going to try to make it happen next week.
Gotta make it happen. But no, I love The Clash. I was big into The Clash back in the day, and I hadn't listened to them in a while. And guess what I did a lot this afternoon?
Yeah, a great way to spend the day, huh? Yeah,
totally. I wish I could have listened to them more today, but I got stuck in a freaking conference for 4.5 hours. So that stunk.
Nothing to really underline how you're not necessarily living the Clash aesthetic, that you're stuck in your corporate job meetings all day. It's like, fuck, this is what they were singing about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what Lost in the Supermarket was about, if you listen really close.
You were not fighting the law on that one. No. The law won, my friend.
Right. No, I mean, I love The Clash. I said to you when you proposed this, London Calling's one of my top 5 albums of all time. It's so, and they have other great ones too. So yeah, no, this was one I was eager to talk about.
Yeah. So I'm just going to start it off with an honorable mention. And I was kind of saying this to you. Is like, usually I like to use honorable mentions as like, this can't quite qualify for the list, but deserves mention. This one I definitely considered for the top 3, and maybe I'm throwing it as honorable mention as a way of getting 4. But also, it's the real reason I chose The Clash for this, and that was Rock the Casbah is my honorable mention. And it's because, when Shaheen is talking about the story of his jet fighter dad, in Iran, dealing with the Shah, my mind goes to Rock the Casbah by The Clash. And maybe that makes me an unserious person, but I don't think so. Like, this is why art tries to bring up these moments. The Clash are a very politically motivated band. Like, I don't think it was, silly on that. But yes, that's, that was my thought. It's like, oh, like the Clash song. And then I kept listening. So that's why their honorable mention is they're the reason that song. And then, it's probably the first Clash song I ever heard. Because it got significant radio play this side of the ocean in the 80s, and I was alive. I mean, I was like probably 4 or 5 when it came out, but
it does.
Yes, definitely. Now in like classic rock, but it might have been like contemporary at the time because it's like their danciest hit. It was their drummer put the song together, did not put the lyrics together, but. Yeah, and so it's a great song. That's my honorable mention.
I thought about that one too. It's not on my top 3, but like, and the thing about it is like, it's kind of a silly song. There's like something that's kind of almost like corny about it today, but also like every time it plays, like you get really into that song, don't you? And like you're making the sound effects, you're doing the, like all like the little like, like the little asides that they yell out during the song. Great song.
And to the point about the corniness, that's just because the Clash have no fear of just being, completely earnest and straightforward with what they're saying. And that's the power of the band, to the point, like we'll talk about, white riots and stuff and not worry about like, is that really kosher?
Yeah.
All right. So what was your number 3?
Okay.
Because you wanted to hold off your honorable mentions is kind of also considered.
Yeah,
at the end.
because I'm just going to shotgun a bunch of songs I like at the end, just like I considered.
This is a tough one.
We talked about it and we were like, this might change based upon the day or the hour of the day.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is I went with I'm Not Down from London Calling. I'm just going to preview something. I basically decided to challenge myself by only limiting myself to London Calling because they got other great songs too, but I'm like, nah, I got to narrow this down somehow. So that was my narrowing factor. But it's just like a song that I feel like I think about a lot with them, and just like I'm not beat up, I'm not butt up, but I'm not down. Like it's just that, I don't know. Like those are lyrics I think I've thought about a lot through my life and hadn't thought about it in a while. And then I was listening, I'm like, hell yeah, man, I love this song. So that's my number 3. I'm Not Down.
Yeah, so I went the other way. I had to make sure that I didn't just choose 3 songs for London Calling, even though, if I'm being honest, probably my top 3 songs are from that album. But then it's like, oh, do you only know one album? No, man, I've got 4 of them on vinyl. Sandinista's too long for me, and Cut the Crap is not a Clash album. But I celebrate most of their catalog. So for my number 3, and then kind of also speaking to this list would ever be changing depending on mood and all of that. At this exact moment in time, I'm So Bored with the USA really resonates with me.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Now, look, bored, terrified, all angry, all of that. But, that's, I think, also part of the song and what they're getting at. And their response is like, to American imperialism and aggression is like, oh, damn, you guys are just so boring. Enough. And there's definitely some of that going on now right now. So that's my number 3.
Okay. So my number 2. So for this one, I was just listening to a bunch of songs, and I actually had a different number 2 when I began the process. Like in my head, I was like, well, obviously this one's going to be my number 1, and then this one's going to be my number 2. And then I was like, and this one, it's so obvious. I probably shouldn't have it on my top 3. Like it'll be if I have like that, then my entire top 3 will be like kind of obvious and all that. And then I listened to it and I'm like, nah, man, this one rocks. It's London Calling.
Yeah.
Just, the way it opens, the way it carries through, like that is just a goddamn song. And if I wasn't saving something else for my number one, and you will get why I saved it for my number one in a second, that would probably be my number one.
Yeah, so it is my number one. It's just so apocalyptic, but still like catchy as hell. Like it's my 12-year-old's favorite Clash song. We were talking about it when I was driving him home.
The opening of it is just so awesome.
Yeah, and it just strikes to the heart of like the ethos of the Clash, right? You listen to this and it's like, yeah, man, anarchy, in like a true way, and not like like the Sex Pistols type way.
Right.
Which I'm not a comment. I have their album too. Sometimes you're in that mood, but yeah, no, one of my favorite songs. Period. And this part is corny. When I went to London, I made sure to put in my iPod because that's how long ago it was. Hit play on London Calling as the plane was landing. So.
Yep.
Yeah, which such a me thing. That's so me coded.
That's like when some friends of mine went on a road trip through the Badlands. I made them a mixtape, which was just the song Badlands on repeat 20 times.
Just trying to drive them insane.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's what you do to friends, right?
Okay. Yeah, so that's my number one. So then my number two. I wonder if it's your number one. Let's see. I went with Death or Glory as my number two.
Death and Glory is honorable mention. That was almost my number three. Yeah. I love that song.
Yeah, it is a lot. Obviously, it resonates differently now that I'm old and I'm on the other side of it. But that's the whole point of the song, right? It's that like we're all going to get old and, lose some of this fervor. Now, interesting for the Clash, they didn't. Like obviously some of their members did age. Some of them not as much, obviously. Rest in peace. But they weren't going to be those aging rockers selling out. They were always going to. It's better to, burn out than to fade away. And then just personally, like this was always like my oldest favorite when he was young. He'd like sing the parts of it that he knew, like the chorus, which would also mean that like when we would listen to it, I would have to strategically cough every time when they're like, he who fucks nuns will later join the church. It's like, don't need him singing that at Catholic school,
No.
All right, what's your number one?
Okay.
There's one that I hope it is, but I don't think it is, and now I'm already disappointed in you. Let's find out, though.
No, I actually think you won't be disappointed in me because it's Rudy Can't.
Yes. Okay, good.
My dog's name is Rudy.
Yes.
Of course, my number one song is Rudy Can't.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I was so worried that you were going to get it. I was like, I felt like that was like a number 3 or something, but no. Okay, fair. Good call.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm being completely honest, London Calling's
probably number 1, but
yeah. But Rudy Can't Fail would probably be my number 2. I fucking love that song. And as I said, my dog's name is Rudy. So that's my number 1. That song rocks. Yeah, I mean, and then just like, I was saying just honorable mentions that I wanted to like throw out there. Like, I can't believe I had a Clash list without Train in Vain.
Yeah, honestly, if I wasn't being like, I can't all be from one album, Train in Vain would probably be my number 3 instead.
That was the one that I was like, well, of course, I got to go Rudy Can't Fail, Train in Vain. And then I was listening to him again. I was like, no, I can't leave London Calling out. And then I was like, and I got to do something interesting. I can't go Train in Vain and London Calling. Yeah. So like, yeah, Train in Vain, obvious.
I also felt like it'd be like way too basic that it's like Train in Vain, Death or Glory, and London Calling. It's like, do you even know the Clash? Now, I guess even more basic would be if I went with
Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Which I love.
Of course. Like, but like, had we done like, Should I Stay or Should I Go, Rock the Casbah and London Calling? Like, yeah, that would be, but all of those songs do rock is the thing.
Yeah.
All of those songs rock. I thought The Law rocks. Clampdown rocks. Like Lost in the Supermarket.
I'm big on.
I'm a huge one on that too. Just like, yeah, like all these songs rock. They're the freaking Clash.
Like even Coca-Cola, which is often thought of one of the lesser songs on that album. I like that song, It's not as good an anti-capitalist message as Lost in the Supermarket, but it's right there. And then, you were saying that you haven't listened to a lot of like Give 'Em Enough Rope, and it's like easily their 4th best album, but that's got some jams as well.
Sure, because it's still the Clash.
Yeah.
And like the Clash will just churn out jams. Like, I mean, I love the Clash. So big fan. But you gave me this, and of course I had to pick Rudy Can't Fail as well. So.
You just started my hope in humanity. You and Joe and Eva, right there. I have the slightest bit of
basically the same.
Yeah,
basically the same.
Yeah, so please, everybody, if you're a fan, and absolutely don't feel bad if yours are the we're like, oh, it'd be so basic if you chose those. Oh, no, man. Especially for older bands, I find, and maybe I'm basic. I don't know. I mean, my record collection suggests that I have a wide range of good taste, but the ones that endure often are just really fucking good, and that's why.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, like we were saying, like, oh, like this would be basic, but also what we were saying was those are really good songs.
Yeah.
Like, those are all really good songs. So, yeah.
And then, like, when I was like, okay, it's got to be a song from another album. Obviously, like I said, I'm so bored with the USA. Just fucking speaks to the heart of where I am right now. But Know Your Rights, I was also really thinking. Because Know Your Rights, like just the opening of that song just seems like the mission statement of the Clash. This is a public service announcement with the guitars.
Yes.
So, all right. But yeah, so share your lists. You can do that on our website. You can send us messages through the fan mail. I didn't really get any questions this week via fan mail, just a few notices. And then a quick shout out to Reddit, who once again a post circulated right around of people just trashing our rankings of the seasons. I love it. Keep it up. I love the energy.
I especially love that. Hold on, I want to find one comment they had. They said that, oh yeah, it's you can't look me. Oh, here it is. You can't look me in the eye and tell me that Survivor 44, 43, 42, Game Changers, One World, and Redemption are better than Nicaragua. Yes, I can.
Yeah, man. I mean, the only thing that would keep me from it is like I don't want to be around you or in your personal space. But fuck you. Okay.
Yeah, Nicaragua sucks. Of course, I can look you in your eye and tell you that. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, actually, not fuck you. It's great. I'm glad you have different opinions. But like seeing that was often like, oh, they think in Nicaragua. It's like they will never not be our lowest one. Like I actually have 39 ranked lower, but this is a cumulative list. Because it's so obviously from these reactions. Which I should note, like somebody sent them to me. I know this would be one of those, haha, you say you don't go to Reddit, but I've caught you. It's like, yeah, man, sometimes I Google myself. It happens. But it's such a great like qualifier right away. It's like as soon as I saw Nicaragua last, I knew that I was not going to agree. Perfect. Never come to my website and never listen to my podcast. Like it just seems like it's just such a perfect way of like weeding people out. So Nicaragua and Gabon are always going to be at the bottom of the list, both because I believe that and because it serves such a fantastic function. If that's what you want a Survivor, then you're not going to enjoy our vibe, and that's cool, baby.
That is cool.
All right. Yep, that's all enough for now. I'm going to play some music.
This is the copyright-free outro to another niche Survivor podcast. Thanks for listening.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.